Brandon, I know last year was a injury season for you. How frustrating was that, kind of going through that?
It's always frustrating whenever your season's cut short. There's myself and many others who had kind of season-ending injuries. It's never easy, but the good news is I took the time to kind of work on a lot of my weaknesses and just transform the best player I can be because I was pretty much had a year of off season, so kind of helped me.
Did the injury occur in the Hall of Fame game, and did you know initially that it was going to be what it ended up being?
Yeah, it midway through the second quarter, I'm standing there trying to pass the TE. I tried to snap the end. I just felt a pop, and then it was like stronger than I've ever felt before, like a really strong cramp that just didn't go away. So I got to the sideline, did my strength test, and about 90% of my strength was gone, like instantly. So.
Brandon, in this league, when a guy goes through an injury like you, it's very rare for a team to keep him around.
Yeah.
They did, and Carmen said yesterday, it's not just skill, it's character with you. He likes that in the room. What does that mean to you in a league where they cut people so quick? They kept you, they believe in you.
It means a lot, I just want to prove them right. I try to be the leader, the positive guy I am every day in the building. Try to earn respect of my peers every day. I come in here about how I work, how I talk, how I walk. I think the coaches see that, and they were willing to give me another chance because of how I carry myself.
Brandon, what was the recovery process like? Like, when did you feel like, okay, I'm good to go. I trust this. How long did that take?
They told me 4 to 6 months initially, so that would have been about December. And about mid-December, like in December, I could have came back. If I wasn't on IR for the season, I felt like I had a punch that I was good enough to play. But I'm glad it didn't, push me up because I had more time to get all of my strength back. So, as football players, we'll push through anything. So I would have pushed through it, but I wouldn't have had the full strength that I needed. But I could have did it.
You have that so much time, downtime to kind of like, be away from the game and kind of rehab. How do you keep yourself in high spirits?
Just watched a lot of film, and then being around my teammates still. Like I would still go to the O-line dinners. I would still be in the team meeting, trying to lift them up, trying to just be around them because I know they're going through the grit of the season. So I'm trying not to be that, be oblivious to what they're going through, but at the same time, just try to rally the guys up and still find ways to be a leader without, having to be in the mix with them.
And last year before the injury, I mean, you were in the thick of a pretty open competition on the right side of that line, especially. How have you seen the competition change between what it was in last year's camp and this one?
It's still a tough competition. Jermaine Illuminor played really great last year. Thayer played really great as well. So in order for me to even be in the mix, I have to step my game up because they both have evolved in the following year. So every time I see them kind of do it right, I'm trying to get right up there with them, because competition breeds excellence. So it doesn't do anything but help us all if everybody else is getting better.
Been here since 2018 with the Raiders.
Right.
Do you ever look around and just wonder where everyone's gone? The changeover has been pretty incredible.
Yes, it's just sometimes I do, but it's just the nature of the business. There's a lot of faces that still remain, through the training equipment, through the front office. So I still see some familiarity, but it's hard to say you don't miss the bonds you build with those brothers that you go to war with. And, you still see them around the league. There's 31 other teams. We play 17 of them every year. So, it's good to still see them around the league.
What are you expecting to get out of the joint practices over the next couple of days?
Great competition. They're coming to compete with us with everything they got. We're going right back at them. In the end, it's just going to be some high quality, intense competition. So I think they're looking forward to it just like us.
You and Colton have been here the longest of any of the Raiders. How's it feel? Is that weird? And do you embrace kind of that kind of role?
It's definitely weird. We'll look at each other and be like, who would have thought, huh? We have those moments where we kind of give us that look to be like, we're here, But our work's not done. We keep working every day. We try to be the veteran voices of this group, especially seeing how we've had our ups and downs in the 6 years. So we try to help people through the ups and downs.
You're a vet when you were first got into the league.
Oh boy, we had a great room. We had, obviously Kelechi Osemele, Gabe Jackson, Rod Hudson, Donald Penn, John Feliciano, who's going to be here coming tomorrow. So they all took us under our wing. But I would say probably the most kind of welcoming was probably Gabe Jackson because he's the one that took me under his wing to go train in Mississippi to really help me kind of see how the NFL is supposed to be.
What kind of stuff did he tell you apart? I mean, obviously, technique stuff I guess you can work on, but what kind of stuff did he tell you about staying in the league and being a pro and all those kinds of things?
One of the things that he told me, and most of the vets told me, that it's harder to stay than it is to get in the league. And I see it every year. They try to replace us all. They're drafting. They're trying to find ways to get better. That's their job. They're scouting. Their job is to try to evolve every position if they can. So, he said you're either getting better or getting worse. So my goal is every offseason to try to work as hard as I can to get better.
That as a young player, do you believe it? I mean, it's one of those things like I'm here, man, I know what I'm doing? Or do you actually like trust it and say, okay, I understand that?
I believed it because, as you remember, me and Colton got our tail kicked our rookie year, so I knew this wasn't the best we could do. So I knew there was a better light. I knew that in order to get what we wanted to be and to show the product that they seen in us, we had to keep working. So he kept working, I kept working, and we're blessed to still be here year 6.
Brandon, what is it about Carmen that you guys buy into him as a coach and a person?
He's personable. I don't think he was blessed to play this position, but he's able to relate to us. He teaches us the technique, the schemes, everything, and he kind of knows the rigor of the season, so he's able to try to feel what we feel, but we just buy into him because he's passionate about what he does, and we know he's trying to lead us with the right intention, so we follow him.
You talked about staying engaged last year, which probably, I'm sure helped a lot, but were there mental hurdles that you had to overcome?
Oh yeah. It's never easy to be on the sideline. Even if you're in the season and on the sideline, it's still never easy. So you have this vision for yourself to come in and evolve every year, and it's just cut short. So obviously you be the teammate, the leader that you can, and rally behind your teammates. But at the end of the day, you still want it to be you. We all want it to be us at some point.
What have you seen in Colton's growth, both on the field since day one, also locally in terms of being more of a guy in the locker room, being a louder presence?
Every year he's starting to speak up more. Colton, I wouldn't call him a church mouse, but he's not outspoken by any means. Like, he's a nice guy, but he's just not the first one to break the ice in the room. That's his character. But he works hard every day, and even if you don't say much, if he don't lead by vocal, he leads by example. He's one of the first guys in the building. He's very attentive to his craft, so he's a guy like myself and young guys can rally behind because we see what he does in the product every day.
You guys good? Awesome, thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.